Hey guys, welcome back to One of My Life. Really appreciate you guys for coming in. I'm just waiting for some feed to come up with some update. So right now, I'm just waiting to start, but I will also give you a little update from my area. But I'm waiting for this brief to start, and then I will give some update. First of all, I just want to thank God for grace and mercy, and things are not getting really much better, but we are praying with time that the recovery will get a bit better and better, more organized in a well-structured way that people can start feel the relief and feel the support and the benefit that is coming from everybody from out and in. So that's what we're praying for, that people start to feel like they are getting the support that they need. But
good afternoon,
okay,
Jamaica.
all right, guys. So let's do
Monday,
this
November
now.
3, 2025.
Let's do this right now.
And we are here again to do another update on Hurricane Melissa and the work that is being done. With me today, I have Minister Vaz, who's the chair of the Recovery Subcommittee of Cabinet. He co-chairs that with Minister Desmond McKenzie, who I think will join us a little bit later. We also have Minister Matthew Samuda with us, our Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change. We also have other
Hold on, guys. I'm just waiting to get this sound tuned. Hold on, guys. I'm just waiting to get this sound tuned. Hmm.
and that God will take us through. And yesterday, when I got a chance to go around, I saw that. And I saw the resilience of the Jamaican people. And that's why I say now is not a time for politics. Now is a time for us to come together as Jamaicans and to do what we need to do to support each other. And I've seen that being done. I've seen Jamaicans across the country doing what they have to do in order to support their brothers and sisters. That is the Jamaican way, and that's the Jamaican approach that we will take forward. I'll give you a few updates at the beginning, and one of them is in relation to our schools. Many of our schools sustained a lot of damage, significant damage. And one of the things when we're talking about Hurricane Melissa and its impact is that it did not affect only a few areas. It's really across the country. So you have areas in the eastern part of Jamaica that have been affected. You have others who we don't talk about a lot. We don't talk about Clarendon and the damage in Clarendon very much. We don't talk about even parts of St. Catherine. We don't talk about Manchester and the issues in Manchester. We need to talk more about Trelawney too and the impact there. So it's been all over the place that we have an impact, and we have to provide support to everybody all over the country. It doesn't matter where they are from. And so that's very, very important. And yesterday I got to see two of our schools. One was in Manchester, one was in St. Elizabeth. I went to Homewood Technical High School first, where they had tremendous damage. And I'm expecting this damage to be the same across much of Western Jamaica. And at Homewood, one of the things that left me feeling so good was that I saw the teachers out. I saw the principals there on a Sunday. They were there trying to do their best to rehabilitate the school, because they said they have so many students who are from the West, and that they need to make sure that they provide space for them. So they were primarily focused on the dorms because they want to bring in children from Western Jamaica. And so, they don't have electricity. They don't have any water. But they were there on Sunday because they love these children so much. And we have to salute them and thank them for their service to Jamaica. I then went to St. Elizabeth Technical High School. And there we've seen the pictures of the damage. When you go into the fifth form area on a 3-story block, when you look up, you see the sky. When you look out, you see the entire field. And there are no walls, there are no windows, there is nothing. That's tremendous damage. And again, on Sunday, I saw members of the board. I saw teachers, many teachers out. And what did they say to me yesterday that made me feel good about being a Jamaican? They said that they were trying to get water from their well because they want to be able to give water to the rest of the community that did not have water. This is a school that was decimated, significant damage. And that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking about, how do I get water to the rest of the community? They're trying to get generators, to get freezers up to help the rest of the community also. They asked for Starlink because they said then everybody in the community can come and use ours. They saw themselves as central to the community getting back up. And so I salute them. I salute them because I know what they're going through at home. It is difficult times for them. And I could see the pain in their faces too, but they were doing the best that they could do. I also saw one of the teachers who said that her role is to go around. If she hasn't heard from a student, she goes and she visits the home. And so she really knew a lot of the marooned areas because she was going around visiting and taking packages. Because Jamaicans need to realize, we talk about it, but we don't necessarily see it. We have many children in food insecure homes. They eat when they go to school. The PATH program in school is central to their nutrition. And so that school understood it, and they said, they're not here, but I'm going to find them and I'm going to help them. And that's the Jamaican spirit. That's the Jamaican spirit. So on a Sunday morning, I was looking at them and I said, the Spirit of God is in you. It was clear.
Welcome,
This is
everybody.
what they
Welcome
were
to the
doing.
live,
And
Christ.
so we have a lot of damage in our schools.
We have an
We're going to have to
update.
figure out how we do
Welcome,
it, how
everybody.
we get schools back up in the West. It's going to be innovative. We may have to use tents. We may have to use other innovative ways of getting schools back, but we'll figure it out. We always have as a country. I remember after Hurricane Gilbert in 1988, I went to school in the hall. They put up some little partitions, and that's what we did for many months. We're going to figure it out on school, and we have a committee that will be working through that. In terms of the reopening of schools, as I drove around today, I saw some schools open, some weren't open. The ministry has said very clearly that the decision is decentralized. So the boards and the principals make the decision based on local conditions. If you don't have water, you can't open school. That's a minimum. You have to have water to open schools. But then there may be other issues in the community, maybe issues with the teachers and their ability to get in. And so all of that is taken into consideration, and the school board and the principal makes that decision working with the regional teams in the Ministry of Education. So we've decentralized that. I cannot stay in the ministry, the PS can't stay in the ministry and say that your school must open. We can't do that. But we do encourage schools, if you're able to, let's do it. The psychologists have made it clear. After a disaster, the quicker children get back to their routine is the better it is for their mental health. It's also the case for all of us. They actually say that, the quicker we move through this grief is the better it is for us in the long run. But there is this sense of national trauma. And I know you're going to ask me later about the JTA president, so I'll just answer now about psychosocial support for our teachers. And I think the entire country needs psychosocial support. I think we're all going through collective trauma. I see it everywhere you go, you see it. And we have to think about that as a country, and I know the church is going to have to be very important in providing that kind of support to the entire country. And so in our ministry already, we have a group of over 30 psychiatrists and psychologists that we have available to our education system. So we have a system in place for those who need help. And many people don't necessarily want to do it collectively. They may want to do it individually. And the Ministry of Education pays for that. And this is not something new. This is something we've had for a while. And so we say
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
that it's early days and we're thinking it through and they're working it through. And so we'll come back to you on that. We believe in partnership and everybody being on board. And that's why on the weekend I spent some time trying to reach out to some of our stakeholders. I spoke to Damian Crawford, the opposition spokesperson. We had a long conversation about what reopening could look like, what the new school system could look like. And that was very productive. I also did speak on Thursday to President Malava, president of the JTA, and we had discussed the opening of school approach, which was leaving it to the schools and letting the school community decide based on their local conditions. So conversations have been had, including with the president of the Principals Association. And so tomorrow we continue that
spirit of collaboration, even if people don't want to say that they're being consulted. We continue in that spirit. In the Ministry of Education, and I know this administration, we believe in collaboration, and we actively try to have collaboration. And I know often people don't admit to the cause, and you know, we can't do anything about it, right? All we can do is focus on ourselves and know that we are acting with integrity. And so tomorrow we'll meet with the JTA, the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, the Association of Principals and Vice Principals, the Jamaica Independent Schools Association, the National Parent Teachers Association, the National Secondary Student Council, the Jamaica Prefect Association, the Jamaica Union of Tertiary Students, the Jamaica Association of Chairmen of Secondary Schools, and the Ecumenical Group, and the Jamaica Union of Churches. So we're also going to be meeting with the churches that do such a fantastic job running our schools. Now, if that's not broad partnership, I don't know what is. And so tomorrow we'll be having that meeting where we start the process of looking at what it looks like, especially for Western Jamaica and for those in the East that have a lot of damage. How do we prevent the learning losses that we saw in COVID? What can we do in order to do things better than before? All right, so that's on schools. As I said, again, we open based on local conditions. The board and the principal makes that decision and communicates it to the ministry and to the school community so they know what is happening. All right, just two other quick updates. I am asked all the time about the death toll, and this is the thing that breaks my heart the most because I know how difficult it is to see or to hear of the death of a loved one. And so I just confirmed the death toll, and I can tell you it is going to change in the coming days. But the official death toll as we speak is now 32. But I will say
Wow.
that there are 8 other cases
Wow.
that are unconfirmed that the police and the JDF are now working to verify. So we do expect total person added to that list. I know we all feel it and we feel it deeply. And so we'll keep telling you the numbers and giving you the latest numbers, and just know that we are praying for everyone. We're praying for all these families. It's not an easy time for them. In terms of the housing assistance program, I see that on WhatsApp.
Guys, 32. She just announced 32 of the death toll. I hope I'm not misleading. It's 32. And she said there's an X8 that not confirmed, but the death toll is keep rising. It's at 32 now, and it's really not good, guys. The whole situation is really not good right now. So the briefing is continuing. They're talking about housing now because a lot of people don't have nowhere to stay, so they need to find somewhere to put them. They need to find somewhere to put people because people are actually staying outside where they have no shelter now. So that is a big concern, and the death toll just went up to 32. We're really waiting and praying that God will just guide and help as much as possible and comfort all family at this time. We really need it because see what is going on.
The recovery efforts to give his update. Minister Vaz?
Okay, let's listen to the next minister.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, ministers, permanent secretaries, Jamaica, and the diaspora. So again, I want to update the nation on where we are and assure you once again that restoration is moving steadily forward. Digicel has restored 46% of its mobile sites, with 86% of fixed networks and 75% of business connections now back online. Service was restored in Santa Cruz, Falmouth, Spurtree, Bevan, and Rose Hall within the past 24 hours. I don't need to tell you how huge that is in terms of getting connectivity in those areas. Over the next 2 days, the focus will be on restoring service from Falmouth to Montego Bay, then Montego Bay to Negril. Work is also ongoing in Portmore, Spanish Town, and St. Thomas. Approximately 64% of Flow's fixed sites are now operational, with 40% of customers reconnected.
Welcome,
Mainly in urban areas
my brother.
where the power has been restored. Work continues to bring service back in.
Welcome, Charmaine. I just take a little break from that. I just want to say welcome to you, Charmaine. Welcome, brother. Welcome. So there has been some update. I'm trying to catch up with it. So they said the death toll raised to 32, and they said they expect more to come. And they said that they replaced some digital places in that this company's name is Digicel. We have Digicel and Flow in Jamaica. They said they replaced some services, but it's more for the business part of it, because that service you mentioned Santa Cruz just now, and I get really happy, and the reality is still not working because I still cannot get through with the call. But the good news is, what I want to say, the good news is that there's connection, second-hand connection made to my parents. So they are in good, they are holding up. They are holding up. I still cannot get to talk to them directly because, as I said, the network is not allowing us to do that. They still don't, the water and light that will be a bad, long situation, make I put it that way. But yes, I get word that they are holding up. Somebody, one of my auntie, has go there, so I think she's trying her best to do what she can do for them. So that's a good news. We're gonna try and see if we can do some repair of the roof, because they predict that rain should be coming this week. So I don't know which day. So they say like they're gonna get some rain coming. So we need to get the roof. We did get a tarpaulin to cover, but it's not strong. Keep away like real strong rain or breeze. So that's one thing that we're gonna see. And Charmaine, I should say again, thank you for that. And that will go definitely towards the repair of the roof. Now I'm just trying to make it clear that I'm trying to help out with my parents, the damage of the house and stuff, but other place in that same community also has been effective, and they're feeling it also. So it's not, it definitely going to spread more to the bigger community eventually. So I'm listening to this the press briefing to hear more update.
Today and tomorrow before Parliament starts. All the members of Parliament in the affected areas will get, again, a charitable organization brought 200 mobile Starlink, and Starlink gave the government of Jamaica 400 residential. We are using those residential / commercial. All 400 will be allocated out to government agencies and NGOs by end of hardest hit parishes who do not have already Starlink. And the municipal corporations will get.
Yeah, that's as I said, it take down a little bit of the tension with me, and just to have, as I said, second hand, you know, connection with them. But that is better than nothing. I'm still a bit worried about their health wise. Food for sure, I think they're getting that, but the health part of it now to make sure medical and different part. But yes, I appreciate everyone that is reaching out to me, and even in my different social media they reach out and asking if my parents is okay, or if my community is okay, and I respond to quite a few of them. But I'm very, very grateful for that. So the work is just beginning, to be honest, because is a whole section. It's not just one section. It's a whole different community. So we continue to give God thanks, and I really, as I said, the death toll raised to 32, and I really pray God will send comfort to this family that is feeling that way right now. We can listen a little more to this broadcast.
Hopefully will be the last flight by the JDF that I have arranged to give them a final look at the damage to the transmission lines. So hopefully, with that being done, we should be in a position to get a full assessment as the government, and then the people of Jamaica can start to get the answers that they are so anxious to hear, based on the frustration level of knowing that you live in a community that has minimal damage and yet still you don't have light. But it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's based on the damage that has taken place. So I'll also ask the JPS to attend on press conferences held by the government to give updates ongoing until we know exactly where we are. Petrojam, important. The refinery sustained no major damage, as we know. It has adjusted its opening hours to 6 p.m. to allow refueling of tankers, trucks for distribution to Western Jamaica. And since Thursday, October 30th, over 400 tanker trucks have been loaded destined for all parts of Jamaica, including the hardest hit parishes. And as the roads are clear by the National Works Agency, the tanker drivers will transport the much needed resource. So there is no need to panic buy or store excess fuel. We have adequate fuel. Another one that is important is aviation fuel, because we have a lot of assets that are going to be traversing the skies, and we have more coming. So we have between 75 and 80% capacity across our international airports, and we are coordinating with our
Yes,
international partners,
that is
such
right.
as Grey Bull Rescue and the Fuel Relief Fund, to support distribution of energy fuel for humanitarian efforts. Rubis has a total of 41 open service stations across the island, which is 82% of their network. 7 stations remain closed. 2 have a status to be confirmed, but due to communication challenges, so they also have put in extra staff and resources to reopen remaining stations and carry out maintenance in St. James. The Westgate service station is now open 24 hours a day.
So what happened even yesterday, that there was a truckload with supply to distribute to some other areas that was damaged, and people is waiting for the care package to reach them, and it was hijacked by some gunmans, and they said, they actually talked, they said that they are hungry, and they take everything that was on the truck. Over 300,000 worth of goods was taken, and that was, as I said, the truck was going with goods, with supply, care supply, to distribute to the worst hit area, some of the areas there, and they hijacked the truck. they hijacked the truck. Is I very shamefully to even say this because we have disaster before, but I never hear of anyone hijacking a truck that is going out to serve the people, as in to give them something. Yes, the truck wasn't stopping in that area because they have to pass through different communities. So, it's like they feel like they've been being left out. I think that's maybe how they felt. But I would say that their time was coming, but unfortunately, they just did that, and it's very sad, I mean, it's sad in a lot of ways because they're saying that they're hungry. So I don't know what they do with that supply if they rob it from them to take it to the district to give to the people there. But I really don't know. It's just not. That's not the spirit of our country. And as a Jamaican, we always try to reach out and help people that is in need. Doesn't matter where they're from or who they are. We always do that as a community. We always come together and do that. So that was sad to hear about yesterday. And it's real because I heard it on the news. So it's not fake anything that happened. But that was very sad. So the update is still going on. I tried to listen to it because I wanted to just share it also on my platform. I really think that is important to share it on the platform. So other people, maybe if they don't have access to it, they can hear a little of what's going on. So we can see what they're saying.
Hopefully significantly reduced fears, at least in the early stages. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to once again assure you that tomorrow, unfortunately, will be
Royal B,
1
welcome.
week since the hurricane hit. Seems like 10 years.
Welcome,
But
Royal
the
B.
reality is, tomorrow will be 1 week, which will be 6 days if you take out the day of the hurricane. And I want people to understand and reflect on that. And when you see what we are trying to do, despite the fact that we are having challenges, obviously, because nobody can prepare properly for a Category 5 hurricane at winds of in excess of 185 miles an hour in some areas. I want to say that we are committed, recommitted to continue to improve on the systems that we are improving. We are taking good advice from our international charities in terms of how we can streamline and make it more seamless for not only the receipt but the distribution of hurricane relief items. And I want to say that again, I ask for patience. I ask for the depoliticization of this process because we need all Jamaica to be a part if we are going to be successful. I continue to ask for not only God's prayers and guidance, but patience of the people despite the challenges that they face and the suffering that they face. I assure you, on behalf of the government of Jamaica, help has started. It's not underway, it has started, and it will improve, and we expect that this week 2, will be significantly better than week 1, and every week thereafter will get better and better and better. All in the interest of the people of Jamaica. All of the people of Jamaica. God bless Jamaica.
Thank you, Minister. And thank you for those closing words. Yes, and at Cabinet, as Minister Vaz said, we had JPS come to give us an update. There were a lot of questions from the Cabinet members. Everybody was asking JPS, when will light come back in particular areas? And so
My heartfelt condolences to the people of Jamaica, our customers, for the lives lost, damage to property, and the dislocation that's happening out there. I had an opportunity to firsthand see the devastation that this record Category 5 hurricane has caused on the nation. Some of my very own when the door and the window was blown off, but he has not gotten a chance to go home and be with her because of the nature of the roads, and he stands committed and is here serving to help to restore power. So I get it. I understand the inconvenience caused by the lack of power. I understand the frustration as some of my very employees are also affected. Let me reassure you, Jamaica, let me reassure you, my customers, that we here at JPS stand committed to work safely 24/7 to get the power restored. So how have we been doing? As of this morning, we restored 206,000 customers. At the time of the incident, we had 550,000 customers approximately out. So we moved from 77% of customers without service to a significant milestone of having just under 50% of customers without service. That is not by chance. It's as a result of our preparation in regards to the system, preparation of the people.
I'm not sure what he's saying because that 50% is not correct. It's more than 50% still without current. So that is not accurate based upon what is on the ground.
Partnerships with the National Water Commission and also the partnerships with the hospitals. One of the things we have been focused on is the restoration of critical facilities and focus the resources around that. We have made tremendous progress on that front, whereby we have currently 57% of our major hospitals now have power. That's as a result of us moving resources to the supply areas of those hospitals, doing the necessary damage assessment, and facilitating that restoration.
I'm telling you, Sharpen Iron, it's not an easy task thinking about having nothing, as you rightfully fully say, and losing loved one in the middle of it. And then the thing about it, if you lose loved one now, you can't even bury them yet. You have to wait until all of these things start to clear up before they're going to give okay to do that. It's very sad, I'm telling you. Let's continue to listen.
We committed to restoring power to Kingston and St. Andrew North and South, St. Catherine, Portmore, and St. Thomas, 90% by last night. I have some good news for you, my customers, my people. We have exceeded those restoration levels, whereby Kingston and St. Andrew are now at 95% restoration. Portmore is now at 95%. St. Thomas is at 95%, and St. Catherine is at 90%. So one may ask, where are some of the areas that are currently out? In St. Catherine, you have areas of Spanish Town, Guys Hill, Bog Walk, and Central Village that are currently out, and we are working 24/7 to have your power restored within the next 2 weeks. In Portmore, you have areas of Bridgeport, Gregory Park, Hellshire, Greater Portmore, Waterford that are out. and we are working 24/7 to have your power restored in 6 days. In KSA North, you have areas of Kingston 7, 9, 6, Kingston 8, 19, Mavis Bank.
Sharpening iron in Jamaica, we only have one power supply, JPS. They don't have no competition, nothing, only one. So when they are down, if they are down, they are down. If they raise price, we don't have no say in it because there's no competition for cheaper supply or anything. Sorry, right, we continue listen.
And KSA South, Kingston 11, Kingston 10, 13, Kingston 1, 2, and also some areas in Bull Bay. We're working to have your power restored in 3 days. We are working 24/7 to have your power restored. Now, in order for your power to restore, we need to do our damage assessment. A critical component, as Minister Vaz said, is the reality that the high voltage transmission lines, which are the backbone of the system, more than 70% are out of power due to the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. I had a chance to do a helicopter patrol, and our steel lattice structure, which is one of our more hardened facilities, was twisted and on the ground just due to this devastation. But we were working to do damage assessment. Once the damage assessments are completed, we will then be able to give you more clearly what are estimated times of restoration. We stand committed to keep you updated. We understand the inconvenience, and help is on the way. We have now pulled the trigger to bring in an additional 100 line workers based on our retainer contracts with companies in North America, from Canada and from the USA, and those 100 overseas line workers are expected to be here by the end of the week. We also are bringing in additional equipment because our local resources in terms of bucket trucks and pole digger trucks are exhausted. So we're bringing in on barges additional bucket trucks, more than 50 bucket trucks, more than 10 digger trucks, so that when the workers come in, they have the equipment required so that they can safely and optimally restore customers. I stand committed to let you know and to give you hope that we will get through this, through strong partnerships, through strong collaboration, and you have my commitment that will continue to keep you informed of our progress. Be safe and be well, and thank you very much.
You know what's going to happen, sharpening iron? Every time there's a disaster, every year, it doesn't matter what the disaster has to do with the power outage and everything, it's a consumer pay for every expense. You see, all these expenses, all these things that he said they're going to assess, then they're going to have to hire private contractors. Because this company, what they did, they get rid of all their contractors and put them out as private workers, and put them out as private contractors now. So they have to pay them to come and work every time something happens. And contracted. So it's first they have a lot. Before that, they did have the hundreds of workers, thousands of workers, but they start to put them out into contracts, right? Every expense that they're going to cost this company, they're going to pass it on to the consumer. They don't care if you lose or you don't have money, it doesn't matter. They will raise that bill saying that you have to pay back for it. So, these are just the different things that is going to top. And on top of what's going on with people day-to-day life, this is the burden that will come. Let's hear from this minister.
Colleagues, cabinet ministers, heads of agencies, permanent secretaries, members of utilities, members of the media, certainly those listening and watching at home. The NWC systems have been severely impacted by passage of Hurricane Melissa. The primary issues that we face impacting water supply at this stage in many areas include high turbidity, internal electromechanical issues, external power supply outages, and infrastructure damage. We can report, this will oblige, that the situation as it stands now, we've had 631 systems disrupted, with 132 systems currently active, giving you the grand total of 763. However, this is to be understood in the context that the systems that we have brought up and ensured are active at this stage in line with priority are your largest systems. So this map would show an idea of where there is particular disruption, obviously disproportionately to the west, the red dots being the disrupted systems, the green dots being the ones which are currently active. Now, that would give a particular view in terms of the level of damage and the level of disruption. But you juxtapose that against the fact that 65% of the NWC's customers have actually been restored, because the systems that have been brought back into activity are indeed our largest. So for instance, we can report that the Constant Spring system, which feeds from the Hermitage Dam, has indeed been restored and is operating from JPS power. We can report the same for the Mona and Hope systems, which obviously make the numbers significant. Now I will take the time to go pretty much around the here have a feel of exactly where we are and what we're likely to see by way of customers coming back on stream over the next 3 days. We're currently operating from the Tullow Springs, which the Tullow Springs system contemplates wells and water sources all the way to Bybrook in Linston. That is the corridor that supplies southern St. Andrew, Portmore, and the majority of St. Catherine. We're operating at around 30%. We're working very closely with the JPS. We would have completed clearing the roadways to our pumping facilities yesterday, and we expect that this system will be connected to JPS this evening, which will bring back over 80% of customers in St. Catherine. There is some disruption, and I'll just briefly get on to St. Thomas. There is some disruption in many of your small systems in St. Thomas because the rivers are in spate and there is a fair amount of turbidity. But we are happy to report that the largest system, which in Morant, the Springfield system, is indeed operating using one of our generators and continue to bring on small systems. Now, one thing before I move on to the other parishes, it's important to note that the majority of the customers are indeed living on the plains that go right around the coast. If you bring on those large systems on the flats, you're able to bring on more people very fast. One thing that is consistent, to give you a glance at the graphics, and you understand that many of the systems that have come back on stream are indeed the ones that are able to gravity feed water to plains. That will have significant positive impact in communities like Rocky Point, Mr. Charles, and we expect that to happen as at this evening, further moving us toward our goals. The entire northern Clarendon belt is out, both because of turbidity and because of energy source. In Manchester, we are almost at total outage, except for the porous and broadleaf to content system. This was brought up as a matter of urgency in partnership with JPS to ensure that the Mandeville Hospital is indeed being served by 24-hour water. The gutters and pepper system, which, yes, though in St. Elizabeth do serve the majority of Manchester, are indeed down, and there's simply no generator large enough to facilitate those pumps. We are in the process of actually procuring one as a part of our resilience building strategy. We started that process after Hurricane Beryl, but that is down, and that will require JPS's systems, we're working with them and we're helping them to clear the roads along the line and the pathways that allow for those connections. The two major systems in northern Manchester, this being geographic region which affects has some impact in Trelawney and Western Clarendon, are also both down awaiting power. But we are able to report that the
Welcome, Aiku.
which
How are
spans
you?
from Goshen to Santa Cruz, is
Yes.
running on generator. It is running in 8-hour increments,
They
and
are
it is
they are
supplying
holding
the
up.
entire corridor.
They are
We are
holding
getting
up.
between 16 and 20 hours of water between Goshen and Santa Cruz currently. In Luana, as we move further west, we would have installed a generator 2 days ago. They're now getting 8-hour increments of water, getting between 18 and 20 hours of water in that area. In Darlin Toba, which is a critical one because that's what facilitates service to the Black River Hospital, a generator is currently being installed on site, and that will restore water supply to the community and town of Black River. But more important, well, particularly important, is to the hospital as well as to the stations for the emergency crews that are operating in that space, as well as a police station, etc. As you move into Westmoreland and Hanover, and there is a fair bit of integration between systems, we are also happy to report that the Logwood system, which is in Hanover, but services all the way to Negril, that has been operating and continued to operate right throughout the storm. So Negril.
Yeah. So yes, that is true. No, the reality is the reality. We actually talk about it that they will build back better and stronger. We definitely believe that. But at the moment, it's just that you're worried because if you're a sickly person and you don't get the care on a week to week basis, some people is a day to day, right? And then it's 1 week since that hurricane come. But you just imagine that your body will not keep up. Your body will not keep up if you're not getting the care that you normally get, you know. And water is a big issue. The good thing, we secure some water for that community, not just my family, but the whole. Um, it's like 11 family living in that area, so they secure water for them and some batteries and tissues. What else? They give quite a few things secure for that section. But as I said, it's on everybody now to try to make it broader, to start to share more to the wider community through the government and the local, the local people, local businesses that is in the area. Everybody have to pull together. Yes, I could. Yes, it's Liberty Land Reform Hurricane Shelter with solar power cons- concrete building. What happened? I will explain this because a lot of people will see disaster now in Jamaica, and you have to actually live there to understand. Like if you grow up there, then you would understand it a little bit better how some of these houses come together. I can give you a good example. For example, Westmoreland, right? Yeah, I don't know how much video you guys watch, but you might hear about Westmoreland a lot coming up in all different videos. Westmoreland, there's a policy in Westmoreland that they don't really sell you land. What they do, they lease your land, and they don't allow you to build construction on the land, like proper concrete construction. Is only wooden house allowed. And that area that I'm talking about is a very big parish. It's a whole county, right? Most of there in the village section, you cannot put up a solid concrete structure. They do not allow it. The way how that land set is actually, it was like a big farming area before that they do sugar cane and all these things. But also it's like a water, what can you call it? That land is so easy to become a river. Like any form of rain can make it become a river, right? So living there, I think it should, some part of it, not all of it, but some part they should declare it as a disaster zone that nobody build there anymore. But the policy I'm telling you is that they only can put up wooden structure. They only lease the place to you, so you cannot put anything solid, and that's the agreement. And you have to have a wooden structure. So a lot of these wooden houses that you see that blow down and everything, make out of ply and stuff, is the policy. Not everywhere I'm talking about. I'm talking about Westmoreland per se, right? But in St. Elizabeth, it's a different policy. You can build proper structures from proper concrete house. And if you see video coming out from St. Elizabeth, you will actually see some pretty solid house. But with this hurricane that came across, even those solid house, the roof, some of the house that don't last their roof, what happened to those house? The water seep in under the zinc and they flood the whole the Salitex, and the ceiling drop down, come down on them. So it's just a very, very bad situation. But going forward, we start already to look forward. Jamaican people is a very resilient people. We are actually a proud people. Actually, a lot of them don't believe in handouts and all these things, but in these circumstances, they will have to accept some help because they cannot make it on their own. Um, but they will build back. It's just the short term now is going to be painful, but they're going to build back for sure. And going forward, they will definitely have some serious house with slab instead of zinc house. Yes, people should not build shock these or hazard during such hurricane season. Yeah, yeah, but as I try to explain that there's some place that those type of building that are the type of house or stuff that you see there is just that that's the agreement. You cannot put up a solid structure there. They don't allow it. Normally, the island not made place should be built on. Yeah, but as I said, what will happen going forward is that they're gonna change up a lot of places that people live, and they will try to bring them into a better location, more suitable for living, and even better house solution for people to live in. All of that going to happen, but it's going to take a couple of years, guys. 5, 6, up to 10 years, maybe, or even more for full completion. But it's going to take some time. But Jamaica going to build back for sure. But it's just a short term pain now. But after that, yes, schedule. But I don't want Jamaica. I wouldn't like Jamaica to come like Europe. The way how they build things here, matches box. We live in I don't want those type of house because we used to big nice space house, you know. But it's just that some of the place definitely need to relocate because it's disaster zone. But we don't want this type of scheme house that they have here, especially in this area. No, it's not. This type of life is not healthy for your mental well being. I'm telling you, you need space around you. You need to see the greens. You need to see birds like natural. Not this type of man-made thing. No. So they're gonna build back better. Trust me, they're gonna build back better.
Like to be restored fast, they're able to respond to. These allocations will be between $1 and $2 million, depending on the level of disruption in their respective areas. We're also ensuring that at treatment plants in the affected treatment plants and pump houses in the affected areas that have power and that are operating, we're putting in a host of temporary standpipes for those who can get to those areas to fill containers to be able to get water. These will obviously be temporary, but certainly, for instance, in the case of a plant like Mothbray, we'll put in 100 filling stations so that those who are in the hilly interior but within driving distance can come and get water for the reprieve that they need. We are working actively also with the team at the Ministry of Water, and indeed with suppliers. We intend to increase on an emergency basis our fleet of trucks to continue to serve the public better during this challenging time. But we are working very closely with JPS. We do remain open to suggestion. We remain open to your prayers, and we are working to ensure that we get to 80% by this weekend of customers. And we are going to work around the clock to move from 80 to 100%. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You heard that, 80% by this weekend. And you saw the numbers for Westmoreland, 35.7%, where, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth are really ground zero, and they're getting water back. I mean, we have to thank NWC Minister Samuda. You've been doing a lot of work, and I hear you talking about all of those subsystems and knowing all of them so intimately. You're really good at what you're doing, and so thank you, Minister. Thank you to the entire NWC team. I know Jamaica is grateful. We can do without a lot of things, but we can't do without water, and so thank you. All right, up next we have Minister Morgan.
Hello, my brother.
Morgan, our minister that is responsible for works to come and talk about the work that's being done to clear the roads and get us access to those people who are currently marooned. Minister Morgan.
Thank you very much, my sister.
Internet not working good.
Thanks to members of the public service, private sector, members of the media.
Yes, the soul of man.
Health
Yes,
turnout. Hi,
yes,
Dylan.
yes.
Good to see you at the OPM press briefing. Haven't seen you in a while.
So what I was trying just now, I'm trying to call this friend I have in Jamaica. He's Troublesome TV. He ran a YouTube channel, but since he has been so badly affected, he can't even post any video or anything. But I have his contacts. I was trying to get him, but the internet keep cutting off. Yeah, our soul of a man, yeah, it's all right. The soul of a man and a man is stronger than the flesh. God will cover the people and they will rise from the ash. 100%, 100%, 100%. Stay encouraged, my brother. I'm glad that you had the chance to hear from the people, from your people, even if it was third party. Yes, yes. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. That's what worried me a lot. And the worst thing is when you go to bed and you don't show what is going on. Because remember, we are like, how much? 5 hours ahead. So I have to go to bed that I can get a little energy to start next day. And then it kind of affects you because you sleep, but you're not sleeping that well. So it's a lot. But just to hear that somebody's checking up on them and trying their best. It might not be everything, but they're trying their best to do what they can do to make them okay. And in the night is where is the hardest part. Just imagine, look, we have light. This is something that we come to get used to. Not to say we cannot do without it, but in this time it's very hard. In the night it's very hard because there's no light. No, you cannot turn on the fan. Remember, it's an island, tropical. It's very hot down there. You have mosquitoes and these things. So you find it work for a lot of things to run away these mosquitoes and also to keep you cool because it's very hot down there. And not having these type of things that we used to on a day-to-day, sometimes we take these things for granted and then whoop, we lose it. Just kidding. Hey, what's up? I'm here. I'm here. How are you? Thank you for joining the live. I'm just here talking about Jamaica. I'm getting a little bit of update from it, and I hear from my, not directly from my parents, but I hear from a third party that they are holding up. So that was good. Request if I can. He's trying to call me back, but service is still bad. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to get a message, but the service there is so bad. I want him to get him on the phone so I could talk to him and ask him what's going on in his part of the wood where he lives, neck of the wood, to find out what's going on there. Or he's going to try again. Let's see. But yeah, the service is so bad there. Yeah, so it's just, oh, hello, my brother.
Everyone,
Yeah, man, how you doing?
hello,
Yes,
hello.
yes, you hear me?
Yeah, welcome. It's the service keep coming and going, bro.
Yes, I know. How things
No.
on your side?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. You hear me?
Mm-hmm. How things in St. Anne? Or St. Mary, I should say. Yeah, the internet is bad, guys. It's not keeping up. It's not keeping up at all. The internet is bad over there. So I'm just reaching out to one of my fellow Jamaica to find out how things is on his side, because it's not just my area. People in different parish have been affected, but the internet is so bad. Let's see if I can get him again. The conference is still going on.
To burn Savannah is also flooded, and in Manchester, and we have several flooded roads which are we have to wait until the flooding recedes, and that's Alligator Pond to Guts River, Williamsfield to Mile Gully, and Newley Road is also flooded, and there are landslides still to be cleared. Dump to Moravia, Christiana to Ashton. We have some challenges in the St. Andrew area as well. Guava Ridge to Mahogany Vale. We have a damaged ford and some landslides that need to be addressed, and we're addressing landslides in Red Light to Hardware Gap, Bull Bay to Blacksboro, and in St. Catherine, we're addressing landslides in Sport Park to Post Road, Bartons to Ginger Ridge. We have a peculiar issue in Spanish Town to Bogwalk, where there are some pole lines that are on the ground, and we had closed the roads, and we're approaching the police because there are persons who have removed the closure and are seeking to extort motorists. So that is something that we have to address. There are several other updates that we will be publishing. Most of the challenges that we face in terms of opening roads is flooding, significant landslides, and in some cases, fallen trees. We are working with Jamaica Public Service Company. We have worked out an arrangement where on a daily basis we are engaged with them in a meeting where we are clearing and their JPS poles. We work together to remove those poles or relocate them. So one of the issues that, and I want to remind persons, is that if you don't have any business in the western end of the island, please do not go. The traffic pileup is actually creating a risk to persons' lives. Our inability to efficiently transport relief supplies to the region because of persons coming out of their vehicle and sightseeing and doing selfies, as we saw over the last several days, is creating a significant traffic pileup. And if there is blockage in, let's say, Holland Bamboo, then the relief trucks cannot come out. So those are just some of the updates that we want to give. Last thing I want to say is that we have over 100 contractors and equipment owners and operators in this effort, stretching all across the region from sections of St. Anne going all the way to St.
Guys, you hear that? People is actually going to this area that is badly damaged to take selfie, taking picture. This is people that is going through a hard time. I'm not saying, I mean, if you live in the area, I could understand, but they are leaving all the way from Kingston, all different parish that didn't get really much, issues from this hurricane to go to the area that is really bad and they need help to take selfie and stuff like that. If they're going there to like help them to cut down a tree to clear the road and stuff, and then videoing it, showing that they're doing something, it's bad and not so bad. We're going there to take a selfie that, what, to say that you're here or something, I don't know. So that's what the minister just said. So I don't know. It's just, you have one, and the next section, you have people is demanding money for them to pass through that area. So a lot of things going on that is not right.
For that work. All right, now we are going to be hearing from our Minister of Labor and Social Security, the Honorable Colonel Charles Jr. is going to be coming to speak about the relief effort because his ministry is really central to that, working with our social workers and our donors. And so, Minister, we want to hear a lot from you.
Thank you.
But Minister Mackenzie said it had to be quick.
Yes, very quick. Thank you, Minister. I was to be on the road today and you corralled me to be here. It's important to report. I'll be very quick, just saying good afternoon to everyone, colleague ministers. This hurricane has tested our nation in ways that we could not have imagined. Being on the ground, walking with the team, you get to understand that we have communities completely cut off. We have houses that have been swallowed up. We have lives that have been uprooted in several parishes. And we've seen and we feel the heartbreak of the families and the people that are trapped, those that are hungry, those that are uncertain. But I want them to be assured that we are working assiduously with all of our partners to provide relief as quickly as possible. Yesterday, the brave men and women of the Jamaica Defense Force, supported by our international partners, risked their lives to carry out evacuation missions, rescuing sick and those that are stranded in about 4 areas across the affected zones. And we continue that today with airlifts that have now been activated, rescuing stranded, but also providing now today the drop-off of packages, well-needed packages to those areas that are completely cut off. Now, I want to just acknowledge the tireless work of those who are volunteering, several of whom...
Yeah, thank you so much, Shabnin Iron. Thank you as always. And yeah, what can we do, guys, but just continue to pray for the people of Jamaica, and their loved ones that is really put to the test. I mean, this is a really put to the test, guys. So just continue to keep them in your prayer. That's the most we can do and ask for. And, we get through this. Today might be this day for us, and then maybe tomorrow is a different place, different country, These things do come, and we only have to strengthen and ask people to keep them in prayer, keep us in prayer. I'm good hope you too. Yes. So, yeah, that is good. It's 9:31, and I just wanted to give the update, and I did that already, but I'm going to take a rest too because I need to work tomorrow. It's gonna be an early start, so I will have to go also. But I'm still gonna be listening to this briefing that we're getting because that's the only thing I can know what's going on there, and maybe sometime I can put it out on my other media to let people know what's going on also. It's very important, to update when you can. Just keep it. Thank you for coming in. It's the first time I think I see you here on my platform. And thank you for coming and saying hi. Appreciate it. All right, guys. So I'm going to close out. See you guys in my next video. I do have videos, but I cannot put them out there because this disaster is the main focus, but until then, we'll see. See you guys in my next video. Take care and keep blessed.